Here we go.
Welcome to the P2 Power Play Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Wilson, alongside
Thiago Cucci. Vamos que vamos.
And today we have probably one of the most special guests we're going to have the entire time. Somebody I'm very excited to talk to, have a big respect for, Javier Carrillo. How are you, Javier?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
We have a lot of questions with the kids here that sent it to us, and it's going to be an amazing day, guys.
And just to highlight, I want people to understand how much respect I have for Javier. I mean, I've known him for a couple of years now, and what he's done just for Orlando City, and the things that he's doing in the community for football and soccer is tremendous, and I have the utmost respect for what you're doing. So,
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts, my ideas with you guys. I know it's going to be a fun conversation.
Talk about developing players.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Also about the winning on the penalties.
Penalties,
Vamos que vamos.
Big story.
Guys, just to start, let me just highlight the thing that I always say on the show, like sometimes in the end, sometimes in the middle. Like, if you want to watch this in Portuguese, você pode trocar settings, caption para português. Se tu quieres cambiar eso para español, tu puedes cambiar en settings. ¿Cómo que es closed captions, you? Autotraducción para español.
Dale.
Mi español es terrible, pero vamos que vamos. So, why you don't start with the first question, Caíto Milagres?
Well, I mean, I think for everybody listening, I think it'd be best to, for you to kind of tell your story. I mean, obviously we know you're the assistant academy director at Orlando City and U17 coach, but, tell people that are going to be listening and watching about you and what you've been up to and how you got there.
Well, I'm originally from Peru. I moved here when I was 12 years old with my family. We moved to Miami, actually.
Okay.
Crazy.
In Peru, I played in soccer over there in different academies. And once we moved here, my parents, again, I mean, I loved so much to play. So then they put me in an academy there in Miami. It was actually Kendall.
Okay.
Kendall.
It was Kendall. Yeah, I was in Kendall. Then I went to Miami Strike Force. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Kendall. So play youth soccer here. So I'm very familiar with what these guys go through because I've been there. Then I had the opportunity to go to Europe. I was there for a few months to get trial opportunities. I was in Lazio. I went to Udinese. And we can talk about it a little bit later about the experience if you like. And then I decided to come back here and I went to school. I went to school to Florida Atlantic. So I went through that college process as well.
Oh, nice.
And once I graduated, then I decided to go on and I went to school for business. So I went to
you did business.
I went on to get a job, right? To get a job. A former coach, I would say, of mine, because he was helping me when I was younger. He asked me if I was interested in coaching. I mean, honestly, I was 22.
In a college?
When I graduated
college.
I was
when
22.
he got it, nice.
Yeah, I was 22, and honestly, I never thought about. I mean, once you finish playing, you're kind of like, that's it.
Yeah.
So he asked me, "Hey, will you be interested in coaching?" So I was like, at first, I wasn't too into it. I said, you know what? Let me go out. Let me check it out. See what can I help. And I found it very exciting and something that I enjoyed. Thereafter, started getting my licenses, and then I got my first job. It was in Team Boca.
Okay.
Team Boca. That was a
Boca Juniors? Or?
No, Team Boca, because I used to live in Boca. I used to live in Boca Raton.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got my first job there. It was a U10, third team. So it was, because they had an A, B, and C. So it was a C team, and that's where I started coaching. I mean, I enjoyed it.
As a coach already or assistant?
I was a coach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you were 22?
It was a third team. Yeah. I was 22, 23.
Yeah.
Something around, 22, 23. And then I started getting my licenses because I didn't even know what license meant, what kind of license you could get.
Right.
I had no idea. I just
start first as a coach and then...
Yes, I just finished playing. I just finished playing, and I just kind of wanted to give back. I always like to work with kids. Because I think that you can truly help them, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not as prepared as I am now, of course, right? But I always had the same motivation, and I wanted to give back. So then I did that. Then I moved on to the academy. It was the first year that Boca United, which is another group and another club in Boca, they had their academy. It was a 99 2000s.
Okay.
99 2000s.
So was it like U18, something like that?
No, it was U14 at
14.
the time.
Okay.
U14 at the time, and I was the assistant coach. You know, and the only way that I got as an assistant coach is because the people that were there, I wanted to learn from them, so I decided to do it for free. The whole year I did it for free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I did
Coaches.
No, I did it for free because again, I had my
Experience.
job. I had my job. To me, it was more important the experience than the amount of money that I will make, right? Because again, I had another job, so I had that flexibility, right? And it was near my house, so it was a great experience. And then because of work, I had to move to Miami. Right? I actually moved to the Brickell area, and when I was in Boca, I was in Microsoft. Then when I went to Miami, I worked for Diageo. And Diageo, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're the owners of Johnny Walker and
Oh my goodness.
Cannons and Spirits, right? It's a very, very good company.
So you moved to Brickell.
I moved to Brickell.
Yeah,
because we used to work in Coral Gables.
Yeah, it's a big city there, no?
Yeah. So it was a good experience, you know. But then through a friend of mine, I got a contact to work in West Pines. In West Pines, and they gave me a U13 group. It was I think they gave me the group because the conversation when they were hiring me, it went so well that they gave me, I would say, the best group in the club at that time. You know, and they were young, and it was a good experience for me. So with those 13s, we did well the second year, because I think when you put a program together, the second year is the best year, and we did very well. We actually won State Cup. We went to regionals, won regionals, got to nationals, right? With a club that wasn't an academy.
Yeah.
It was a big club, or it is a big club in Miami. But that age group, they were quite new to all that experience, you know. So we did well, and then Western called me, you know, Western Academy. I'm sure you guys know it. And then that's where I officially joined the DA. You know, it was 13 as well. U13.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, U13. U13, U14, and the second year again, the U14, we actually went to Italy. We won a tournament there, first international tournament that Western won. So it was a great experience, very good players. Right. We finished the season undefeated. But the most important thing at that age group was to me that at the end, Inter Miami came, and about 10 to 12 players from my group went on to play with Inter Miami. Right?
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's big. That's like 50% of the team.
Yeah, that was huge, and I was happy for them. You know, I was happy for the guys, and then the opportunity to come to Orlando arise when Marcelo, you know, he's our academy director. I used to work for Marcelo in U.S. Soccer. I was a scout for U.S. Soccer, and the opportunity. And he used to coach me too when I was younger. I was in ODP, because I went through the ODP program for 1 year. Back in the day, that was the way to...
That was the way. Yeah.
That was the way to get into the national team and all that stuff, right? So then he called me. He's like, hey, listen, there's a very good plan, ambitious plan in Orlando. Will you be interested? You know, and that's where I had to make a decision with my...
Okay.
I had to make a decision with my family to say, you know what? I always wanted to do this full time. Always. Okay? But... for some reason or another, it just, like, I was working, I was very busy with my, I would say 9 to 5, right? Where I was traveling a lot, and I never got the opportunity, you know? I was always doing it part-time. Then when I came here, we decided as a family to make that transition.
100%.
100%.
100%.
What I was about to ask you. So 100%. you did 100% of, like, coaching when you moved to Orlando?
Yes. Before I was a part-timer. I had my job, so it was, and this, I mean, my wife was very supportive, because I would leave my house, this was for about 4 or 5 years, I would leave my house at 8 a.m., 7:30 to go to work, get off at 5, right, sometimes a little bit later, and used to drive from Miami to West Pines, or to Pembroke Pines first, and then to Western. That's about 45 to an hour in Miami traffic. Which is, you're an hour in the car every single day, right? And in West Pines, we used to train 3 days a week, but in Western, it was 4. So I would get home at like 9, 10 at night.
Every night. Or the 3 nights, yeah.
Every night. And when it was in Western, 4 nights. And then, because that's just who I am, I decided that the night off, I wanted to help those guys in individual training, right? So it was a fifth night and a game on the weekend.
Right,
So it was quite hectic, and obviously you need someone to support you. So she was there, and but the drive was long. The drive was very long. I did it for 4 years, every single day. Yeah, and then we ended up moving to Weston, right? But the Orlando calls me, or Marcelo calls me, and tells me about the opportunity, and that's when I told my wife, listen, this is something that I truly want to do. I think it's the right moment. I was 32 at the time, and it's an MLS academy. It's working with someone that I respect and that I know for a while. So the environment was good too, because I think the environment where you work, it needs to be positive, and you need to enjoy it, because that's where you go every single day. Right? Otherwise, it just doesn't work out. Yeah. So it worked out. So we decided to move here. I had one kid. So, and then now I have 3. Right? So
you had more time.
Surprise!
So I sort of did everything backwards. When I was single, and we were married, but we didn't have kids. We were working and working and living in Miami and being able to do the I would say that more of a lifestyle. Yeah. And then I decided to come here, and then now it's more of the family.
Build the family.
Building a family, and we're very happy. We're very happy, and then Orlando comes, the experience, we had to start everything from scratch pretty much. Yeah. We had, because there was first they were in Seminole, then there was a transition to Montverde, and then it was bringing it back to Osceola Heritage Park, right? And it was actually creating a pathway, a true pathway for our academy players, that wasn't there yet. In Montverde, I think they did a good job, but it wasn't, the first team wasn't training there every single day. And the moment we brought those guys here, which was pretty much all the players that Montverde picked, we got them here, and we gave the opportunity to everybody. We gave the opportunity to everybody. The first year was pretty much getting to know everyone, and we struggled at first. We really struggled at first, but I think with the support of, and that's how I met you as well, and the support of the community, and trying to help the club, trying to help the academy, and the relationships that we had prior our experience in Orlando, I think it helped us build a stronger program, right? And then COVID hit, and then everything stopped.
All right. Just shut it all down.
You got to do it again.
Goodbye.
It's entrepreneur, man. It's hard.
Yes.
It's like a business. You own kind of a business that you need to,
I mean, for us, we need to create a good environment for the players to, because we need to develop human beings first. Yeah. Right? So we develop human beings, which is the most important thing, and that's how they behave on and off the field. That's how they take care of their body. Is how do they do in school? So we always had this idea where we were just trying to put all the pieces together, right? Because regardless whether the player makes it pro or not, we want to develop good human beings, as I mentioned. So we want that guy to be able to call us back 10 years from now and say, hey, coach, thank you for the lessons that you gave me. Thank you for the feedback that you gave me. Thank you, because now I'm going to college. I'm able to take care of my family. Yeah. And those who actually go on to play pro, good for them, right? Good for them. Hopefully they're there for a very long time. But at the end, they need to be good people as well, right? So I think that's the priority. Priority, and that's our big emphasis that we have in the academy.
Yeah, makes a difference, man. When you got, I think it's interesting how you said you guys the program went from Montverde to Osceola, and I would think, just from a mentality and a mindset standpoint, that just changes everything, because kids now get to see the pros every day, training the same way, and just a different feeling.
I think that first year, we actually were the ones who were first at Osceola with the academy. Because we started our season in August, right? And I think we transitioned there into late August. So that's where we had all the training and all that stuff. And the first team didn't come until January, right? So those kids were able to experience about training closer to the players for about a month or two, because COVID hit March 15 or something like that, because I remember, So they got that experience for about 2 months, but then everything stopped, right? Everything stopped. But we got a little bit of taste of what it it would be like to create that pathway where players are exposed to the first team. Because I think that's our biggest competitive advantage, right?
Completely.
And what you guys did on the COVID, like for a year, I think it was a year that we stopped.
Yes, no, it stopped till August.
Yeah, like 3 months.
Yes.
Well, what you guys did on this break,
yeah, 4
like,
months.
with those
I mean,
players?
just like everybody, we were trying to figure it out. Right?
Online.
we were
Virtually,
doing, like the Zoom calls
Yeah.
and guys. At times, I was even juggling the ball and sending players challenges. It's like, hey guys, if you do this, you win. So then players are recording their clips. I think we were all trying to figure it out, because it was something new for us, and we try to keep the players as engaged as possible, right? Sometimes we assign them games. Hey, watch this game, recording, because no one was playing at the time. Right? So it was recording games, and please send us an analysis, tactical analysis, technical analysis, whatever it may be. So we were just trying to be creative.
Hard too, because
it
we
was
did the same
challenging,
thing. We did videos here, a lot of things. And once again, just to highlight, this is a club neutral podcast, okay? So probably the whole Orlando City team is here. Javier, special guest here. But I want to say thank you, High Soccer Academy, Arena and Prospects, for sponsoring the show as well. Together with Maris, that is... Arturo, you own us a lunch. We're gonna stop by there.
But is the Peruvian
It's
restaurant?
Peruvian restaurant. You see, Arturo.
Clip that.
Clip that. Maris restaurant. Yeah, but thank you so much, all sponsors, and we're gonna talk with Mercedes-Benz in next week about that.
We're coming.
Okay.
We're coming.
So Javier, let me ask you something. So I gotta defend the people that doesn't know about soccer, because there's people that watch here to see about business, about financials, and also they want to understand about soccer. Like your players, do they pay to play? What they get to play? Like what is the advantage to play with your in your team instead of different academies? What is the biggest difference?
I think it starts with the pathway.
Yeah.
It starts with the pathway. I think we're the only club, because people ask me this question a lot. Oh, why should I come to your program?
Correct. Yeah.
You don't really have to.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you, is that the one advantage that we have over everybody else is the fact that we can expose you to a first team. Okay. And why is that so important? And since Coach Oscar Pareja came, he's enabled us to create that true pathway, right? And why is it important? Because you can tell a player, just like we can tell our kids, right? Hey, play fast. Your control needs to set up the second touch. You need to play to the correct foot. You need to look over your shoulder. You need to be aware, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But until they're actually exposed to that situation, they're not going to learn it. It's like with kids. It's like, hey, don't touch this stove. It's hot.
Yep.
It's hot. It's hot. You can tell them 1,000 times. But until they touch it and it burns, they're like, ooh, okay, now I get it. So I think that's the biggest advantage that we have. And last year was, for example, with Nani, putting players, 15, 14-year-olds training next to Nani.
Crazy.
Oh, nice.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
crazy.
It changes the player's mindset too, because now they're like, wow, okay, this is
what's in front of me. Yeah.
exactly. And what's interesting as well is that when you put those players in this environment, in training or preseason or games, they think because they're younger, the first team players are gonna hold back and
They go hard, huh?
even I will say even harder.
Even harder.
Because if you think about it, right? The players haven't told me this, but I assume. Imagine if one of these young guys does very well.
Oh yeah.
What's gonna happen?
Bye.
Maybe the pro player will be afraid.
Maybe not, right? But it's that mindset that we try to encourage the player to say, hey, listen, you're here and you're going there not just for the experience. You're going there to compete, to learn from the experience, of course, but at the same time, to really tell yourself, do you have a chance to play at this level? Yes or no? If you're not ready now, what are you missing?
Yeah.
So be the leader of your own development, right? And I think that's important. And then what you say, whether they pay, no, they don't pay in their program. I think it's an investment, a very important investment that the club and MLS overall, you see it all over the nation, they're making, and in this case, Orlando is making a huge investment in these players. We provide them with cleats, Adidas. They help us. Yeah, they help us with the cleats, so they get 3-4 pairs throughout the year, and a very expensive one too. When I used to
It's
play,
the top
they used to
one,
be
yeah?
$100. I was
Yeah.
like, wow. Now they're like
300,
350. I'm like, wow. So yeah, so they get all that. Trips.
So no monthly
No.
cleats for free, uniforms.
Yeah, they get everything.
So what about I was reading something about the college. If they fail to become a pro, do they get a guaranteed spot on the college or?
No, and I would change that word because I don't think failing is the
Yeah,
word,
I'm sorry.
right?
Yeah.
It's maybe they just didn't have the opportunity.
Correct,
Because there's so many variables, right? There's so many variables, and if you want to go into details, we can definitely go into details. But I would say we want all our players, because the first component is I think when you know your objective, everything else becomes easier.
Yeah.
And we said that we want to develop good human beings, right? So for that, we require all our players to be committed to college by their senior year or early senior year.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you go pro, like this year we had 2 players who went pro, right? But they were committed to college as well, right?
Oh, nice.
Because if it doesn't work out,
Right, they have the option.
through soccer, you have the opportunity to go to a very good school. You have the opportunity to get a very good degree, which is going to change your life.
Completely.
It's really going to change your life, right?
Yeah.
And when you are in Orlando City, college coaches call us. You know, we have the relationships. So it's a lot easier in terms of credibility, right? For a player to say, hey, listen, I've been in this program for 4 or 5 years. They know if you lasted 4 or 5 years in this program, you're committed. They know education is going to be key, and they know you're a good player.
It's like a pre-approval, yeah?
Very much.
When you're going to buy a house, you have the pre-approval.
That's a good look at it.
And college coaches, I mean, they call the MLS academies, not only Orlando, but all the MLS academies, because they know that the guys who have been through that process, they're mentally tough, they're responsible, aside from the fact that it's a given that they're good players, right?
Yeah.
So
Committed.
Just should be
very
there.
committed.
Yeah.
Very committed.
It's not easy.
Very committed because it's
You have
not
to be.
easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not just like I mentioned that I used to drive 4 years, an hour here, an hour there. Some players do it for a very long time. When I was younger, I used to live in Boca, but I didn't want to leave my team, right? So I used to drive from Boca to Miami for an hour.
Wow.
For an hour. You know, my parents, they were very supportive of me, you know, and they sometimes they took me, but at the time they bought me a car, so then I was on my own driving.
Yeah.
Right? And these are just little details that we do as players, now as coach, you know, but it's details that, you do sacrifice a lot, socially especially.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't go out. You don't go to the party. Let me ask you something. We had a parent talking about pressure. Yeah. So how was the pressure with those kids that was about to play with the pro players? Do you tell them before, or guys, today we're going to have a pro players? How does it work?
I think the dynamic has changed because now we train in the morning. Okay, we train
Everybody, right?
Everybody. So we started the academy at U15. Okay, U15, U17, and then the 23s and the first team. We all train at the same time. Okay, why? To expose players to this next level.
So you can move them.
It could be 23s. It could be first team. Like before, when players, and we can talk about like the schooling system and all that. But before, in order for us to expose a player to the first team, logistically it was difficult. It was challenging because they were going to school. We didn't have it there on site. Now we have them on site, which means in the meeting, in the morning we meet. Hey, who's going where? So then we say, okay, this guy is going to the first team. This guy is going to the second team.
Oh, nice.
Players get a list of where they're going to. So if I'm a player, I show up to the training facility and I say, okay, today I'm going first team. I'm going second team. I'm going 17s. The 15s are moving up to the 17s. Some 17s moved down to the 15s.
You change weekly this.
Yes.
Wow.
We can get into the details of how our week works, but that's the idea, right? So now with having schooling on site, players train in the morning. They can go to the first team, 23s, or the academy, and then they go to school. And then in the afternoon, and some days we have training sessions, right? As
You do the school
on site.
as well.
On site, yes. And it's a lot easier for us because, like, for example, next week we're going to GA Cup. Okay? We're going for 10 days to Dallas. So having the school there allows us to be flexible with the players and their schedules and their demands and all that, right? So
because it's all moving pieces, and you can easily align with what you need. That definitely makes your life easier.
Everything. And now players are getting nutrition as well. They're getting meals at the facility as well. So we're also monitoring what they eat, you know, and that's a big component because
They don't sleep there?
no, they don't sleep.
Oh, yeah,
They,
yeah.
they sleep. They sleep. But I think it's important for them to go home.
Yeah.
They need to go home. I will say the biggest advantage now is the fact that we have them for a lot of hours. So the contact with the player has increased dramatically. I'll give you an example. When most MLS academies, they train once, okay, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon. Most MLS are transitioning into the morning because of this player movement, right? And exposing these players to a higher level. But for us, we on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, we train in the afternoon as well. It could be on-the-field training. It could be video. It could be gym, whatever it may be, right? It could be very specific, position-specific or individual-specific.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, you're training 2 hours, 5 days a week. That's 10 hours. Yeah. We train about, or at least we're exposed to the player about 18 to 20 hours in a week. So we're doubling what most MLS clubs have achieved with their players, right? Not because you do more means you're doing better, but you have higher chances of success. So we're thinking, okay, that's every week. So we're thinking in 2 years, 3 years, it's truly going to make an impact just because we're exposing our player to just different
More training.
knowledge, training, and I think that should prepare them a lot better. And having the school there gives us that flexibility.
Well, it's interesting because he also said that training could be the gym, it could be video, it could be individual. So it's not necessarily the team going out and going to practice. It could be anything.
I would say it's a holistic approach, right? And it could be staying in school because you're behind. Right. And hey, unfortunately, you cannot train today because your
grades suck.
You need to do
Grades are not good. Yeah. What about with the ball? Like training with the ball daily? Like, what is the maximum that you think they do per day?
I mean, it depends. It depends on the day. Usually Mondays is recovery days because we come back from playing games. So what we do, I can get into the week, right? So Monday and Tuesdays we do groups. What's groups? Is any player from the 15s and the 17s, they're combined. We rate them based on performance from the previous week and potential. Okay, so we want, regardless of the age group, we want the better players together, or the players at least for that particular week together. Okay,
doesn't matter the age.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the age. And why? We divide them in Group A and B. So now a player comes in the morning and they're saying, "Okay, I'm in Group A. All right, great." But sometimes the player who was in Group A now is in Group D. Why? Oh, what happened? So you start questioning already, right? And you start stimulating the player to compete.
Right response.
To compete.
So A, B, and C.
A, B, and C.
So the parents complaining to you or no?
No, parents are very supportive.
Yeah.
Parents are very supportive because we do a good job, I would say, communicating with them and telling them the whys.
Why?
You know, the whys. And I think it's like this. It's the player, the parents, and us.
Yeah.
We're a team. We're a team because at the end, we want the player to succeed just as much as the parents do. Right, and we're not one fighting the other. We're together because the most important thing in this relationship, I would say, is the player. Right, and we want to make sure that he does what he needs to do, at least to get closer. I don't say to go pro because there's so many variables, but at least to get closer to that dream of his, and to try to be the best player that he can be. Right, try to reach that potential. So
I ask that about the parents because I would like to know, like, how is the communication with your team and the parents? Do you guys have an app that you talk just on this app, or parents call you, or how does it work? Like
we have a team administrator that usually is the one managing all the communications.
That filter for you.
Yeah, but it could be live, which I think that's the best way to have conversations. To be honest, you know, I mean, with COVID, we lost a little bit of that. Everything was through Zoom, but I like to face to face.
To talk,
you know, the face to face, get to know them. They ask questions, always being very honest, you know, whether they like it or not, you have to be honest. Because I think if you're honest, you set the right expectations, and at the same time you explain to them how you can support their kid, right? So I think always honesty is important, and that's who we are. It could be through calls at times, you know, because of work they cannot meet, but we'll find a way. What's important is that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about the grouping. So you said you got 3 groups, A, B, and C. Do you ever purposely move a player that was maybe in A and put him in C all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I want to see how they react.
Okay.
Yeah. Some players they're too comfortable.
Simple like that.
Some players are too comfortable.
Yeah.
It's my job to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's how they grow. Right? That's how they grow. That's how
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Again, that's how they grow.
No, think about it, right?
No.
I'll share a few experiences, but it's my job, it's our job to make them uncomfortable. So when you make a player uncomfortable, now he's second guessing himself. Yes. Now he's working harder. Yes. And it's always, you expose him to uncomfortable situations, but they know that you're there to guide him, right? So I think that's the important thing. Like, they know we're there for them. They're not on their own, right? So we do this grouping. On Tuesdays, we do the groups again. Can someone that was in Group A be in Group D, for example?
Yeah.
And again, this is not because Group A is where everybody wants to be, of course, but Group D, they're very good players as well, right? So the gap is not that big, but it's just what Group A represents.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the top group.
Yes, I want to be in that
Premier
top group, right?
showcase. That's
Exactly. It's more of a mindset rather than
Mental stimulation.
Yes, rather than there's a big gap between groups. Not really, right? Tuesdays we do the same, and then Wednesdays we go now into teams. So I actually get to work with my team on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Okay, why? Because we want to make sure that the player is exposed to all the coaches in the academy. Sometimes as coaches, we want our team, and all we focus is our team. And here, the job is not to develop the team, is to develop the individual that as a consequence, will make the team better.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
Yeah,
I've been preaching that for how long? And people always say, oh, the team. Well, it's the players that make the team at the end of the day.
Yes. And I also think that if a team is good, the player will develop as a consequence, right? So it goes hand in hand.
It's natural,
Yeah. So we do that, and then Tuesdays afternoons and Thursdays afternoons, it's position specific. So what does that mean? For example, we determine that a right back, left back needs to be able to cross the ball. Okay, so we expose that player to that action for a very, very high amount of reps, right? Because at the end, you get better at anything that you work at.
Repetition.
Right? So it's repetition. So how can I expect my player, my forward, for example, to score a goal on Saturday if during the week he hasn't scored 100 goals? How? And sometimes we miss that. Sometimes we want players to do stuff that we haven't really worked on.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit unfair.
Definitely, no.
Right? It's a little bit unfair because
If you didn't teach, how he gonna do it?
more than teaching, if you didn't expose them to the experience, because we can 3 ways of learning, right? Visually, doing, and hearing, right? Most players learn by doing.
Yep.
Okay, at least from my experience with the players that we have. So that repetition gets them to experience what works, what doesn't work, and they sort of discover the game by themselves. And I think that's the most important thing, because the coach is not always going to be there. No. They need to solve the problems.
On the field, they have to.
They have to.
They have to solve the problem on the field.
They have to. And you expose them to different situations. And on Wednesdays is more the individual, right? So I'm working, for example, with 3 players to work on their passing and receiving. So we set up exercises where there's always decision making, right? Because passing and receiving without decision is not soccer. It's not soccer, right? They need to make decisions. So when they make these decisions, we're helping them, we record them, we show them how they're doing it. So it's more tailored to the individual, right?
To their needs.
And I think the player starts understanding that you're there on their journey to support them, and most of the time I don't work with my players. Why? Because players don't want to make a mistake in front of their coach. So what happens? The U15 coach comes and trains with them. The assistants coaches, they come and they train with them. I go work with the 15s. So we touch on all these mental aspects, because it's very important for a player to feel comfortable, feel safe in the environment that they're in, so they can trial and error, right? They can perform trial and error, and again, always knowing that we're there to pick them up when they need to, give them a hug when they need to, but then also push them when and they're getting too comfortable. That's why I said my job is to make them uncomfortable.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
But I also want to know, because somebody will ask this question. So what do you guys do during grouping? So it's a group of 6, and then what do they do?
It all depends.
Okay.
Like, it all depends. Like, for example, right, based on time and resources as well. Like, if I'm working on crossing with my right back, my left back, I could also work with my forward in finishing.
Movement, finishing, yeah.
And who gave the ball to a right back? Oh, I can work with my 10 or my 8 breaking lines, right? But at the same time, I can put my defenders there because they need to work on defending crosses. So it's a mix, I would say. It's a mix.
A puzzle, huh?
Yeah, it's a puzzle, because at the end, everybody needs
something
and within a context, right? What we don't want is high loads. What does that mean? We don't want in the afternoons to play and play and play, because at the end, we want the player to be able to perform the next day.
Yeah.
So it's more about reps, right? Reps, and in reality is the less people that you have involved in the reps, the less chances of mistakes, which means it's cleaner and you get more repetitions, sharper.
And the goalkeeper, they train together as well, or you train separately?
Depends. Again, depends. They're part of the team, right? So they train with us, but at the same time, they have their own goalkeeping training, right? So it all depends on what we're looking for during the day.
Yeah.
And you highlighted something about how you don't always coach the 17s and you're the coach. Right. So how often a week do you coach them, and how often a week do you coach the 15s or something else?
I coach them on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Okay. Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, because Friday is
pre-game.
Pre-game, right? So those are the 3 days that I have my entire group. And sometimes I don't even have the group because we do so many player movements that some of my guys, they actually come down on Fridays, right? And I just see them for the tactical review for the game, and off we go, right? And that's why every age group tries to play the same way. Some changes here and there, but for the most part, 17, 23s and first team, we play the same way because it allows the player to transition from age group to age group
seamlessly.
And maybe you make a change here and there because of the game. Hey, this guy is they set on a medium block, so then we need to attack them this way or whatever it may be. But it's minimum what you change, right? For the most part, they already know the structure of the team,
right.
So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I have one of the questions. One kid asked me to do it. Like, okay, I play really good. I want to be seen by you. So how can a kid that is watching us, listen to us in Spotify, how can they play in your team? So what day is the tryout and everything?
We at the 15 and 17s, we don't have tryouts.
Okay.
Because we have a scouting team. So they're out there watching games. Even when the player doesn't know they're watching, they're there. And then we have a scouting network as well, right? So sometimes is our scout reaches out to you guys because you guys are on the field, right? And the more eyes that we have out there, the more scouts we have, right?
Sure.
Correct. Rico mentioned that the scouting was here and we didn't know.
Yep. Yeah. So it's very important, again, that the player, whatever they do on a daily basis, is that they try to do the best they can, because you never know who's watching, right? And
again,
I'm getting a lot of those.
This means really good.
That's good content. Yeah.
No, so it's what I will say is they need to be on their team. They need to try to expose themselves to a high competition and training level, and then at the end, I think when you're a standout, you are seen, right? You are seen, and we don't have tryouts because, again, we trust in our scouting network and the scouting process, and that's the way we invite our players. That will be the tryout.
When they usually go to the games?
Whenever you play.
On the EDP league, probably all those local leagues and tournaments. Everything. So guys, you gotta stop working, Well, because there's no other.
I want to highlight one thing because this will transition to the next point, I think. And you talked about standout. So in your eyes, because I remember the first time I actually met you, you had like an open identification session, and I asked you, I'm like, what do you look for? And you said, well, that's a broad question. And you're like, and you gave me an example of a kid. You had a goalie one time, and that you put him in the warm up, and essentially he scared himself and he couldn't play. And you're like, because of that, he's out. Right. So like, what is a standout for you?
I think players who can compete to begin with, right? Players who can deal with adversity, because you have a lot of players that they miss a pass and they're blaming their teammates, they're looking up in the sky or trying to find an answer somewhere, right? Rather than say, you know what, it is what it is.
That's my fault.
Learn from it, move on, right? So I would say, is this kid competitive? Before you get into anything, to me, right? Because I've seen very technical and tactical, physical players that at the end, when they first face adversity, they're in Group D. Oh, now they don't want to come to training. Oh, now they don't want to perform. Oh, maybe this is not for me. Oh, I'm sacrificing so much, because they do sacrifice so much, and I'm not playing. So is it really worth it?
Yeah.
You know, so those questions, those guys that are driven, that's the only way that you can truly survive in this environment, because you will be exposed to
Hit that. What you
Let me wait to finish. You're gonna expose it to it?
you will be exposed to different challenges, right? and I will give you one example. Okay, one of the players that we have, he's a standout, right? Okay. One of those potential players that you're like, wow, okay, he's different, right? He was coming from playing every game, every minute the year before, and this is the first year that he's with me.
So he was in the 15s before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So now they're moving up, right? They're moving up with me, and you know the player's good.
Yeah.
Okay, but you want to expose him to uncomfortable situations.
Challenge.
Challenge. So he doesn't start with me. He doesn't start with me. So he goes, no, but I had a reason. He goes, oh, coach, but I'm not starting. I'm like, yes, because as a midfielder, you need to be able to cover ground. And you only want to play with the ball. And without the ball, you're playing, but it's iffy. It's not going to be enough. Long story short, imagine this player. And that's why I say mindset is very important. This player comes from 13, 14, 15, one of the best players, playing a lot, you know, to now coach doesn't play me because he doesn't say that I cover enough ground. Okay, he's telling me that based on what he's looking for, I'm not doing what I can do to help myself and the team. Okay, what would most parents do? Oh, this coach doesn't know anything.
I'm playing with you.
Everybody's against it. Oh, do you really have a plan for my kid? Because I don't think it's so obvious now, you know, that you have a plan for him. Instead, what this kid did was he worked. He understood where I was coming from, because he saw that I was being honest with him and then showing him video what he was doing, because it's very important to the player. You can tell the player whatever you want, but you need to prove it. And with soccer, it's very easy because there's always something to prove. Right? So the video,
the camera doesn't lie.
Yeah. So you can find quickly. Yeah?
Change the way that we see the players, the cameras.
So then this kid, training. He gets on the team because he has the ability to do it. But now people are turning and they're saying, "Wow, okay, he's doing well. He's being involved with OCB." He went to the first team to train.
Oh, nice.
Long ball comes, brings it down. Antonio Carlos comes, whacks him.
Squat.
Whacks him. Player gets up. What's going on? I watch it. I didn't say anything. He keeps playing. So then after, I tell him, so what happened? You thought, he was going to back down? And he's like, well, I mean, I'm not used to that. I'm like, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
I think that's the moment that for this player, it clicked. You know, he's like, wow.
It's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I go there, because now I know what it's like. When I go there, they're not going to take it easy on me. So now I need to get stronger. I need to play faster. I need to be aware. I need to look over my shoulder. All the components that maybe since he was U10, people coaches have been telling him.
You're amazing.
It just clicked there.
It was the rock star on all teams.
Clicked there. It just clicked there, right? And sometimes coaches give you very good coaching points, but you as a player, you're like, yeah, whatever. You know, I mean,
you don't, like you said, you don't have the experience of it yet.
You don't have the experience until it happens to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because maybe before it was enough, you could get away with a bad touch because you were still better than everybody else.
Yeah,
you know? Once you get to a pro level, it's different, right? Mm-hmm. And Antonio Carlos, which again, I think he's a fantastic defender, and he doesn't know, but he taught that player a big lesson.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna back down, my friend. You need to come. And
You came here?
If you're here, you're gonna compete like one of us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the message, and through his experience, I'm able to use his experience to tell everybody else, hey, watch what happened to this guy, because they were there to watch it too. See what happened to this guy. Yeah. So you need to
now
make
you
sure that
understand,
you're ready.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this kid is doing fantastic, So that's why I say mindset, because throughout that period, the 4 or 5 months that he didn't play as much, he could have easily said, you know what, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Bye.
I'm leaving. You know what? You don't know anything. I sacrificed so much. You're really sacrificing that much? That's the number one question, right? What sacrifice for you, right? To each his own, right?
How bad do you want it?
Right? We come from different backgrounds. I mean, it's not really sacrificing, but okay, I get it. But anyways, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And it shows that this player wants it, but that's what we expose our players to, challenges, and sometimes it's not even us, it's just the game itself, that challenges these players. And I think mindset is the number one component. And then something so simple as, can you pass the ball properly, and can you control it, receive it properly? Something that sounds so basic, yet it's so difficult. Right? Can players consistently play at the right pace to their teammate to the correct foot? Right?
With pressure.
With pressure. Yeah. Can they play the correct pace? It's all these components. At the end, it's passing and receiving. Mm-hmm. Can you receive that ball and get out of pressure with one touch? Mm-hmm. Can your control get you out of pressure? Mm-hmm. Can your control set you up for your second pass or touch or whatever it may be? This component, and now it goes down to the details, right? Can they do it? If technically you're not there, you're gonna struggle. Mm-hmm. You're gonna struggle, not just because the environment. The environment, you have less time, less space.
You'll get eaten alive.
So and I think it gives you, when technically you're confident, it allows you to think more about the decision making than your touch. Mm. A lot of players are worried about their touch. Ooh, I gotta make sure this touch is good. Right. And you're not really observing what's going on around you, right?
And that's when you get hit like that kid. He's got to worry about his touch, and he go bang.
Yes. Well, yes. In this situation, it was a ball in the air. Yeah. So he was kind of looking for the ball and bam, see, But yes. It's technically, and I think that one of the biggest components as well is that the players need to understand the game a little bit better. This is not a matter of just running. This is understanding when to run, where to run to, and what kind of relationships you're creating on the field. And I think that's where we have, I think as a nation, we have the opportunity to teach the players how to solve problems, right? Not interfere as much, let them discover. But at the same time, the more they understand the game, the easier it will be for them to play at a higher level. Because yes, there's going to be a transition, an adjustment period when it comes to time and space, because you're just playing with faster players, more quality players, right? But if they understand the game, they adjust quickly. Because they know exactly what to do in certain situations, right? And I think that's the key.
Well, one of the things that we
look for everything.
There's always something, but I was going to say, and I want your opinion, because what we've done, we don't have, like with high soccer, we don't have a pro team. Right, but we have an adult team, and adults play in UPSL. So, like, do you think an environment, if you're not at Orlando City, but you get minutes playing UPSL, is that a good way to kind of prepare for Orlando City, or the next step like that?
Absolutely. What age? You're talking about 14, like U17.
15, yeah.
We always say if you're good enough, you're old enough. We always say that. Okay.
To play up, yeah.
To play anywhere, right? The experience that we had with UPSL last year was very positive. Okay, last year the team that won the national championship, throughout the season, they were playing UPSL. Okay, and they were being exposed to just a different environment. More experienced guys, more physical guys. Men's game. Where it's different. It's different. So we expose our players to these situations where now you're not going against a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old. You're
Not your
going
age,
against men, and some of them former
30,
pros,
40.
former pros, you know, that understand the game and been there, done that, right?
Experience.
So exactly. So exposing our players to this was fantastic for us. You know, now we do it every year. You know? Now we're exposing our U16s. It's a combine U16, U17s, and some of the U23s who need minutes. We get them into UPSL. You know, but putting a 16-year-old against a former player, former professional player, college player, who's now maybe 30, 28, 25, recently graduate, you know, who's a 22, 23, it's challenging for them, you know. And I think exposing them to that competition level is very good. UPSL works because they give you that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because what we found was we would take kids 14, 15, 16 that maybe play pretty good at their age, but when we put them into adult and they're like, you know, kind of freaking out, getting nervous, and
but it's a new experience for them, right? So it's adjusting to his experience. Everything takes time to adjust, right?
Yeah. Just how quickly can you?
How quickly can you, and can you cope with that uncomfortable environment, right? Are you going to walk away from it, or are you actually going to, you know what, come out of it a bigger and better player, person, whatever it may be, right?
How bad you won, like this is the
and,
thing.
And how resilient are you as well? You know, you need to keep pushing. And I think, again, UPSL and everything that we expose our players to being better is good. You know, it's good. You mentioned futsal. Like, to me, futsal is fantastic. It's fantastic. That's how I grew up. I grew up playing.
Right.
You barely found in Peru 11v11 fields, right? At that time. Now things have changed. But my parents, they used to, since I was 4, they used to take me to play 5v5, 6v6.
Concrete,
Yeah, concrete. But on the
Streets,
street,
bro,
like you fall and it hurts, so you don't want to fall, right?
Yeah.
So all these components, and I mean, as usual, you probably went through this, that maybe you too, you have your neighborhood team. And then you go play another neighborhood team. And you're playing the winner, very, I would say unhealthy, but the winner gets a Coke.
Yeah. It's like
Coca-Cola.
That's it.
So
we were talking with Pantuza, Diego Pantuza, pro player. He went to the ghetto in the middle of nowhere, and the guy showed a gun. And was like, if you win here,
you dead.
Yeah, because this is the kind of pressure that.
I didn't experience that, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so and that's where you're playing futsal all day. You know? It's not in this beautiful court.
Over the summer, we got to have him come out to the World Futsal.
I would love to. I tried. I was gonna come out this year.
Yeah.
I was gonna come out this year because I have a few friends also from Miami who have had teams.
You know Guga, right? Guga?
Yeah, I know Guga. Yeah. I went to the same school.
Right. Soga Bonito.
Yeah. Guga, great guy.
I'll make sure you come. We'll get you on the list. And
I would love to.
And the kid's gonna be pressure on the back.
And I was actually, I wasn't there, but I was living the experience through him.
Right.
You know, he was always like recording the penalties.
Social media, guys. You see, he's watching you on the social media as well.
It's crazy.
So do your best every single day.
That tournament, have you seen it before? That tournament? Have you seen it live yet or no?
No.
They do a really good job of like the environment and the pressure. Like it's.
Rob, thank you.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. United Football.
Actually, that you mentioned social media, right? One of the better players that we have in the academy now, I spot him in a social media video.
Oh.
Opa!
So how did that work?
It worked out great for us. But that's how I did it because
highlights.
But what did you see? Was it a highlight video? Was it?
They were just recording playing. Okay. Like I think they posted like 2 minutes, like playing a rondo or something like that.
2 minutes.
And I saw the player. I'm like, wow, okay, he's different. So we got him in. Now he's playing with us and he's doing great.
So you DM him and
no, actually we went to the club and we told him. But how I saw the player was through social media. You know, so
crazy, huh?
Social media is powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful. Definitely, guys, pay attention to your social media. Watch out what you post as well. So no parties. If you see the party, if you scroll down and see big parties, and
that's something that we're focusing with our players, right? We try to educate them because now things have changed and everything is in social media, right? And and you can do great things, but you can also get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yourself, yeah.
Right. So it's very important to stay professional. You know?
Yeah.
And we always say, don't put something online that your parents wouldn't be proud of. Right. So when you do that, it keeps you out of trouble. Right? It keeps you out of trouble. And you have to be very smart, because now not only are you representing Orlando City,
Correct.
right? You're representing your family, but you're representing your brand. Each
Yourself.
player is
You have a
brand,
personal brand. Yeah.
right? And who are you? Are you a player that on the field is great, but off the field you're questionable? Maybe it's not gonna be good enough, right? Because nowadays everybody looks for the full package, right? Someone who can represent the club on the field and off the field, you know. And it goes back to developing good human beings, right?
This thing about social media is important. We had last week our immigration lawyer here, and he was telling that one day one of the customers didn't got approved because of the social media while he was searching in Google.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So definitely you gotta pay attention on that.
Yeah,
Is
people look for that. That's what we do. I mean, when we recruit new players, you know, part of the process is getting to sitting down with the family, getting to know the person, getting to know the family. You know, how is his dad? Where does he come from? How is the environment at home? Because that way, that information allows you to, I would say, to guide the player a little bit better, because you know his background, you know where he's coming from, you know what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do. You know, some people come from great households, some others they're not so lucky. But if you don't know that, and you treat everybody the same way, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't treat everybody the same way. Every person, every kid has their own world in their little heads, right? And you got to make sure you're exposed to it. You're exposed to it, and so that way you can guide him a little bit better.
And how to prepare, for example, let's say the kid is 17 years old, you know that he's going to sign as a pro now. So how you prepare this kid and the family, so you have a meeting before and say, we're going to promote this kid. So how you do that?
That's when Ricardo and the front office, they sit down with Marcelo as well. They sit down with the players. They tell them, you know, they're happy about their performance, and they sit down with the family, and then they go on to offer a contract, whether it's MLS or OCB, and that's how we get.
For you, is your mission accomplished when Ricardo say, I want to sign this kid? For you is...
I think it's why I come to work every day.
Yeah.
You know, more than signing or not is, okay, is that person better, right? I mean, do you provide that person with everything that he needed to be successful, regardless what success looks like for that person, right? But is he better than he was yesterday? If the answer is yes, that's we did a good job, right? Now, when they sign, it's even better, you know? because now, wow, okay, he's playing. Like, I have guys that I've known since they were 12, 13 years old, and now you see them on the first team. You know, Alex Freeman, he just signed with the first team. I've known Alex since he was 12, 13 years old. You know, and then to see him grow and go through that process,
It's amazing.
and then getting signed. But then I tell Alex, hey, Alex, now, okay, you got signed. Good for you. Great. But what's next?
Yeah.
You got to get signed again.
Yeah, you gotta sign that.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't end here.
Yeah, you have to become a starter. You know, this is the first step.
Yeah.
Great. Because a lot of people think, oh, okay, yeah, I made it. No, your journey just starts now.
The next part. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's fun.
can those guys stay in the league for 10, 15 years? That's the goal, right? That's the objective.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're a professional player. You know, are you in the league for 10 years? Because if not, then okay, you sign, but
For what?
That's it. Yeah.
you know, keep going. And sometimes it's not up to them, right? But I think they need to know that this is just the start of
First step.
what's next.
I mean, not a first step, but
I do have a question that I received from a kid, one of our 15s, and he said, what qualities do you need to play for Orlando City Academy? So, like, I told him, look, you need to assume that every player is already good, but can you kind of expand on what that looks like?
So I ask you, to play at a professional level, you guys that run an academy, what do you think you require?
What would I require?
Yeah.
To play at a professional level? Uy.
Oh,
Everything.
Caíto question, go.
Everything. You need everything. If you don't
What's
have
everything? You need
technique,
to break it down
tactic.
for me, right?
Yeah,
you need to break it down
jeez.
because if you tell me everything,
Yeah.
as a player, I'm like, well, what's
Yeah,
everything?
what
I
is
don't
everything?
know.
I mean, I'm going to give you a quick 30-second spin, but
Done.
even probably less than that. I mean, first you need to be committed. You don't have that, forget it. If you don't have the drive, forget it. If you don't have the skills, forget it. And then if you don't have the impact or the personality to make it happen, then forget it. And that'd be the simplest thing that I'd give you as fast as
I
possible.
think you answered the question.
Yeah.
It comes down to that. It's not.
Caíto highlight.
There we go. I'm in.
Was pressured by Javier.
You can put me under the mic.
But it's not. It's,
No,
it's
go
not
on.
rocket science, right?
yeah.
It's you need players who can solve problems, who can execute in tight spaces, high intensity, right? And players, most importantly, who can compete and deal with adversity. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
You know? And just the same that you require here, we require the same. It's just maybe a higher level.
Sure.
Right? And that's what players need to understand. You know, that again is where you're exposed. The only way that you get a player to understand is by exposing them to it. Though. Like, again, we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, but until you don't really experience
Be
it, live
exposed,
it, be there, it's just not. Maybe it's not gonna click.
Yeah.
Right?
Guys, let me expose Javier right now with our challenge.
Challenge
Siosito, it's time for a challenge. Let's expose him.
Challenge time!
Kai is gonna explain the challenge. It's not about money. It's about to make it happen. Yeah.
Have fun.
But definitely, money's gonna be
Oh, wow.
on the table. Okay.
All right.
So Kai can explain.
I mean, you know how this thing works. It's a Rubik's Cube. Sayul's going to give you a color.
I'm awful at it. I
Yeah,
don't
me
really-
too. I
But
did
you
it
can
once,
try.
too,
It's all
terrible.
about try, huh?
And this is how
trial
it
and
works.
error, right?
Yeah, this is how it works. So Sayul's going to give you a color.
Okay.
Hold on. And you have 10 seconds to get one color. And if you do that, you get $10. If you can get the whole thing, you get 100
The whole thing?
in 30 seconds. Yeah.
I really think I will get $10.
The world record is 6 seconds. So
Yeah.
Ready, Sayul? What color?
Can you give me wait, Can you give me a little bit of experience? I mean, what some lessons?
no,
some
it's like
tips?
putting a player on the field without no.
Just like that. But you're setting me up for failure. There's no guidance here.
No, the guidance is you can move. For example, yeah, you can move. Look at this, boom, boom, boom. Done.
Okay.
So basically, for example, the white one. If you want to bring it, let's see, I'm gonna help you out. Like this white, you're gonna bring it up. It's just this movement. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Boom.
That
Okay,
easy.
done.
Okay,
Done.
that was easy. And in 10 seconds.
It's the first
Wow,
guest that
okay.
received a tip.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Ready?
What color, Sayul?
I don't remember it, but
White. Let's go.
white.
Counting.
Oh my God, man. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's under pressure. The whole money will be donated to Orlando City Foundation.
Let's do it. Let's do it. But I don't know if they're gonna get any money, man. What do I have? 10 seconds?
Yeah, 8.
Oh, almost there. One line. You see?
Pieces
Doing
together.
good.
I'm thinking.
He probably gonna buy a Rubik's Cube today.
And 30
I
seconds.
will. Next time I come back, I'm gonna beat you.
And-
guys.
time.
Oh, what's good? What's good?
Good
Oh
run.
man.
Missing one.
That was better
Yeah,
than me.
this is the hard one. I think here you can do something like this. You do it again.
And hey,
Wow.
you win.
It's just one movement.
Yeah.
And yeah. That was
It's so easy when you know what to do, right?
So, this is why the practice in the training, yeah?
I'm telling you, next time
Repetition.
I'll do
To
the
your
whole
point.
thing.
Yeah, to your point.
I'll
Repetition.
do the whole thing.
Thank you, Javier. Let me take the money out.
Yeah. But I do want to ask you because obviously I know you won the MLS. I don't remember the exact. What is the exact title? The MLS Next
MLS
Cup.
next in July.
Yeah. And how did it? How was that? I mean, winning that obviously must have been huge, but like going through that, penalties, the
It's
experience.
crazy, yeah? I see your picture all over, man.
Yeah, the experience. Yes, the experience was fantastic.
It's amazing, yeah.
It was amazing. But I'll share with you. I always wanted, and we all wanted to win it, right? That's always the goal. You're like, wow. I mean, imagine if we could actually.
We're
win
here.
it, yeah? When we finally won it, right? Which was great because it was in our second year. It helped us in many components, right? But when we finally won it, I felt happy. But the next day was like, oh, okay. So what's next? What's next? I think the journey, when you reflect back, the journey towards that championship is what made it very special.
Right.
You know, so we go back to COVID. COVID hit. We weren't even training. A lot of players were graduating. You know,
Slow.
right. So it's like, okay, what do we do? So we brought in 14 new players. 14 new players for that team. You know, because some of the 03s were graduating, so then we needed to make sure that we had the right balance of 04s and 05s. So throughout the summer, getting to know the families through Zoom, because that was the only way that you were able to meet with them, show them what we could do for their son, show them why Orlando City was the right fit, because I always say the player needs to be the right fit for the club, but the club needs to be the right fit for the player as well. Right. You know, it's very important that we both align. And then we talk about how we can together be a team, and we started getting the players that we truly wanted, right? Then the season starts, we started getting good results. We were playing mostly local teams. It was Florida teams for the most part. And then, when was it? It was February, March, where we go to Atlanta, okay? And the team was doing well, but we go to Atlanta to play this showcase that we put together. And I think that was the biggest challenge that team had faced. And throughout the process, we were playing UPSL and all these experiences, right? But we go to this showcase, and we play LA Galaxy the first game. We beat LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy is a very good team. I'm like, okay, all right, we're good.
It's a good step, yeah.
We go play Dallas, okay, the second game. First half, it was 5 minutes left into the first half. It was 2-0 Dallas.
Wow.
2-0 Dallas. We score. Okay, 2-1.
On the second half.
No, 2 minutes before the half.
Adversity.
2-1. But this is where I knew this group was special. Okay, halftime comes. Calm. Hey, guys, because we were playing well. It's just sometimes in soccer, you know, you're playing well, they shoot on goal and they score.
What is the conversation in the locker on this?
So I go, guys, we're doing well. Okay, we're playing the way we want to play. Okay, their game plan is working. Just keep going, because he's gonna come. And then one of the players comes up to me and tells me, this is where I think, it was fantastic. And to me, it's a highlight moment for my coaching career. A player came to me and told me, Coach, don't worry. We got this. Like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Man, look at this. Oh,
I still get it. Look, I still get it. Because I was like, wow. Okay, we got something special. You know. Long story short, 2-3, we win the game. 3-2.
Mentality. Crazy. Yeah.
And he helped a lot of the team. This guy,
but we didn't have to. They push each other.
Nothing.
They push each other. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. And so we win that, right? And then the second moment in that season was we play Inter Miami at Inter Miami to try to, if we win it, we finish first. Okay? Because we were already qualifying to the playoffs, but we wanted to finish first in our division. Our division was, let's mention the MLS, all the Florida teams, but then also Atlanta United, Charlotte, Inter Miami, and us. Right. So we go to Inter Miami. Inter Miami needs to win to qualify, or to continue having the opportunity to qualify. If we win, we're champions at Inter Miami.
Nice.
That's good. That's a rivalry. That's good. Long story short, we end up winning the game 3-0 at Inter Miami. I still have the picture. We were taking a picture and the stadium is in the back. Oh my. and we won it, right? Yeah. We won it. And then the players, that's when you knew, wow, okay, they overcame adversity. Now they come into a difficult place because Inter Miami is a very good academy, a very good team. A lot of those guys, because back then, last year they had an 05 team. A lot of those guys were with me at Weston when I had him. So it was the players knew each other. So it was very nice. And we go to the showcase. Showcase is 5 games in 8 days. You win, you go on. You lose, you go home.
Even the first game, right? You lose, you're done.
Mata.
You go home. Yeah. We play the first game against New England. We win 3-1. Okay, we move on. Next game was Shattuck. Shattuck's Shattuck is called the team. It's a private school, okay, and difficult.
Hard game.
They were good. They were good. They're Minnesota. They were good. Good. And we go to penalties, and we win in penalties. That's when you start. Okay, when you go to any tournament, you want to win it, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know how feasible it is because, again, you hit the post, you don't win.
Things you can't control.
There's so many variables, right? But what we want is the players to compete and play well. So anyways, we win that game. The third game is against LA Galaxy again.
Rematch.
Yeah, rematch. And to win to beat a top team twice in a year is difficult.
Destruction there.
It's difficult. and we were up 2-0 with 5 minutes left, and they scored it 2-1. And those 5 minutes...
Forever.
But we win, all right? We win, and playing well, too. We win, and then we play at the FC Dallas Stadium, the semifinal, right? And what happens is we're playing this team, okay, Sacramento, very good team.
USL, right? They're a USL team?
They were going to be MLS. You know, now I don't know if Sacramento Republic, they're USL, yeah. So anyways, so we're playing them, right? And they happen that their U19s played in the morning, and now the semifinal for the U19 age group. So they're all in the stadium.
Oh,
They're all
and
in
they're
the
loud,
stadium.
yeah.
Good team, boom, 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 1-0. We're winning. Boom, 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 2-0. 5 minutes left. We're like, hey, we go 2-0 in the first half. Okay, we're good, right? 2-1.
Yeah.
Still in the first
When
half.
it's 2-1 is a problem.
2-1. We go to halftime. Good team, man. They were very good. So anyways, 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, Thomas Williams, which is now in the first team, he gets a red card. We're down with 10 players. Crowd. If you're standing 10 yards away from me, you couldn't hear me.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't hear me
Was
because
that
there were
loud,
people in the stadium, and these guys were just loud, right? They're supporting. We're down with 10 players. And that's where mentality takes over, right? Our goalkeeper made fantastic saves. Defenders, they were always, I don't think they barely lost a duel, in the 1v1 duels. We were quite compact. We were surviving. We were in survival mode because think about this. Yep. Man down. Emotions are going the other team's way, right? You play 4 or 5 games. This is the 4th game that you're playing, okay, in 6 days. In Dallas over the summer. I don't know if you've been to Dallas over the summer, but it's hot.
It's hot as
that. It's hot. We played 25 minutes or almost 30 minutes with a man down, and we won the game, 2-1. Right? Then we go to the final, and we win it in penalties. Isaac, he's a goalkeeper. He made very good saves, And I mean, again, everybody's so happy. Everybody's so happy. But the process
to get there,
like right now, I'm summarizing it. But there were so many components that it was a special group. And for that group, everybody graduated into OCB. Right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Some of them are some of them started last game that they played against Chicago.
First team as well.
Yeah, we won 2-0. And some of them went on to the first team. And all of them are going to college. Or we're supposed to go to college, but then they sign. But they're all going to very good schools, right? And I think that's one message for me that, aside from the journey, is that a lot of people think that when you come to a professional club, it's either you go pro or you fail or you go to the street and you don't do anything. No. When you actually go to a professional club, you're going to end up in a very good school. Hopefully you sign pro, but if not, you're going to go to a very good school. And that's a big component that we're trying to emphasize, because that idea that if you go pro or if you go to a professional club, college is out the window because you're only going for a professional contract, it's not true.
Like you said, normally it's 1 kid, 2 kids. You got lucky having a group.
Last year, but not all of them have signed, right? They were promoted, but from that group, 4 players signed.
Okay.
Right? 2 players signed for MLS and 2 players signed for OCB. The other players decided to move on to college, right? But they're going to Louisville, they're going to Michigan,
Big ones.
they're going to Cornell,
Oh,
yes,
nice.
they're going to Providence, Seton Hall, very good schools.
How many players did you have in total on that roster?
I think we have 25.
So 25 and 4 made it, and that's a high number, right? 4 making it.
That's very high.
Yeah. See, and
That's
2 were
very high.
MLS and 2 were OCB. So I mean that
Yeah.
that tells you even out of 25 guys, only 4, and that's a
Yeah.
good year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and hopefully those players now that move on to college,
Right,
they can come back. You know, they can, because they still are homegrowns, so they can come back and maybe it wasn't the year now, but it could be in a year. You know, that's why we want to make sure that they go to good programs, because academically they're gonna do well, but at the same time they're gonna be competing at a high level, and that's in our benefit.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand about the costs involved to do that, because all players play for free, all the cost, flight. So do they give you a bonus, like a money to the club, or how does it work?
Who?
The league, for example, when you play in a league or a tournament, do you guys get a?
Like if you win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Okay, but I do know that the ownership, they make a big investment in the academy.
Yeah.
Because again, when you have a homegrown player,
Yeah.
okay, and that player goes through your academy, he becomes a homegrown, and then actually gets to play for the first team. I think there's no better feeling as a fan, okay, to watch that player for me as a coach, right? But
Yeah.
if I'm a fan, I want to support that kid.
He came
Because
from
he's
Europe.
an Orlando kid.
Yeah, he came from the
Yeah.
environment.
He's an Orlando kid. He came from the environment. He truly bleeds purple.
Yeah.
Right? And
Homegrown.
that's a player that you want to support. And at the same time, now with all these movements that you're seeing with players being sold to Europe, it's a business as well.
Yeah, correct.
You know,
It's like a
business.
stocks being. Yeah.
I mean, in Brazil, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing.
All over the world. You know, you have players that take you in the academy, they develop you, and then hopefully you get signed and sold to a bigger and better club.
I mentioned that because some tournaments in Brazil, they make a lot of, the clubs make a lot of money in order to.
I don't know how it works here.
Yeah.
Ricardo will be the person to ask.
Yeah.
But to us is once again, it's not so much the
money, but yeah.
It's supporting these players and give them the tools that they need to be successful on and off the field.
Yeah, but I think one of the things is that like 4 became pro. If those pro makes really good level, it's very tradable. Yeah, I don't know if I can use this word.
Yeah. It comes down to, okay, you can be a very good player, okay, very good player, but what if in the years prior, the club already signed 3 players in your position?
Yeah,
I don't need you. Yeah.
Maybe they need you in 2 years, not now.
yeah,
Maybe you go to college and you come back, right? Because they don't need 4 players, 5 players, 6
spot,
players in the same position. And you were very good, right? So sometimes that's why I say is a component of luck as well, timing, being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
The one common denominator is that you need to be a good player, right? You need to be a good player to be considered. But there's so many variables as well.
What players do you need right now? What positions?
We're always looking for the best, right?
For the
We're always
best.
looking for the best. So we want the best players. Again, our goal when we started this project was to become the best MLS academy in the nation.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. I stand by that. You know, and winning the championship helped us. It's a big step.
Yeah.
But I think signing homegrowns is even more important, right? And so far we have 5, 6 since we arrived, and that's important. You know, that's important. And I think right now we're launching the U12s, right? Because we want to close that gap between right now every year we start a brand new team at U15,
Right.
and it's very challenging.
'Cause you have to go scout all the players, bring them all in.
It takes time to adapt.
Yeah.
And some of these kids are very good, but depends on the environment they're in. You know, so we want to develop players the Orlando City way, let's call it, right? So if we start young at U12, we're hoping that those U12 can move up into the U13s, then into the U14s. By 2025, have a full academy, meaning 12s all the way to the first team. You know, that's the idea, because we want to get to that player at a young age group.
So next year you're going to have what ages for sure?
12s.
12,
15, 17s.
Okay, and then the following year you probably had like 13 or 14.
Those players will move up to 13s. We continue with the 12s, 12, 13s, and then the following year those players move up to a 14, and then you close the gap. That's the idea. That's the idea, and that's what we're aiming to do. Because I truly feel that with the staff that we have, with the system that we have in place, with the support from the front office, from the first team, we can be the best academy in the nation, right? And there's a lot of quality here. Like, I was watching the U12s last week, okay, in the training center that we had. I was impressed. I was very impressed. And I think one of the most valuable things that we have as a club is the market that we're in. They're very supportive. So if I call you guys, you're going to tell me, hey, I have these 2 players. Check them out. Hey, because clubs, they're understanding that maybe it's going to be 1 or 2 players. It's not going to be your whole club. And as a matter of fact, when they understand that their role is to push players to that next level, they actually get more players. Because hey, 1 player from X club made it to Orlando City U12. And I think you're going to get the recognition from the club, and as well you're going to get the recognition from your membership.
And I think we should promote that a little bit more, because I was talking, I don't know who, I mean, maybe Diogo or Rico, I don't remember, but we should do that. Like, clubs should, I don't know, call you or the scout and say, I have a good player here, because we need to help Orlando.
It's currently happening.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, we
need the.
I think it takes a village, right, to develop players, right? And we need to make sure that if everybody's helping, and at the same time, we need to help you guys. It goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. It's not just, bring him here because we do a better job. No, it doesn't work like that. It's bring him here because I can provide this for him.
Correct.
What can I do to make sure that you bring me another one? Because it's in my interest that you do a good job, because then I don't get 1, I get 5. Follow me? So I think it's a cycle.
It's a mutual benefit.
Yeah, it's a cycle, and us coming here, for example, to help. I don't like saying educating, because I don't think we come here to educate. I think we come here to just share our experiences. And maybe my experience, I told you I started in Team Boca, 3rd team. There's so many coaches, young coaches out there that are starting at the same spot as I was in 10 years ago. The only difference is that now I have 12 years of experience over that guy, that I wish when I was 22, someone will come to me and tell me, this is a pathway that you got to take.
You learn it.
I wasn't
experience.
Experience. But I was fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough that when I was younger, my parents were always like involved. They were always helping me. They were always guiding me. Then, when I became a coach, I had Marcelo. He was a good mentor of mine. I have other guys there that wanted me to be successful.
It's because how you work as well. If you were not a hard worker, how they gonna, hey, come work?
I think that's just the person that I'm in, that I am. Sorry, and one of the reasons why, like, going back to, okay, you made the decision to transition from the corporate world into here. That the corporate world has helped me understand the business, has helped me lead in terms of leadership and see a different component, right? But one of the reasons why I decided to make the transition, we as a family decided for me to make that transition, was that in the corporate world, I was going to be good. I was going to be good because of hard work, but I wasn't passionate about it. I knew that if I dedicated my time to this, I don't know how far I will get. I really don't know. Hopefully very far. Yeah. But I know that I come every single day to try to do the best that I can do and be the best that I can be, right? So I don't work. I'm looking forward to Monday, Tuesday, Saturday. I love what I do. I don't work. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you find that,
we keep saying the same thing. Like, sometimes, my wife is a big supporter. Yeah. And sometimes she says, what time you going to come? I don't know. So I stay here working because natural, like at this podcast that we are doing right now, people are, Thiago, how much money you making? Like, we don't think about money. If you put money as a first goal, you're not going to be succeed.
I think money comes as a consequence of your actions, right? And I think for me, The main goal is when I started, right? When I was started, call me silly or not, but my objective was, can I sit on the table with the best coaches in the world and give my 2 cents? Just give my 2 cents. Something briefly. In order for me to do that, I need to expose myself to knowledge. I need to expose myself to licensing. Because licensing, you do learn a lot from it. Doesn't mean that you're the best or the worst, but it exposes you to...
It's a pathway.
It's a pathway. It shows you that right now I'm completing a course through MLS and French Federation, right?
The Elite Formations coaching license, right? Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. Like, my mind is blowing. It opened up so much.
When will you finish?
Huh?
When will you finish?
July.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's great. And I like sharing those experiences, right? Because I think it helps everybody. It helps everybody. But that's when you keep working, you keep trying to get better and better, and then you're fortunate enough to meet the right people that can help you. Because I think also that's a big component.
This helps.
You need someone, like if Marcelo doesn't take the chance on me to bring me to Orlando City, maybe it would have taken me a little bit longer.
Correct.
And then I backed it up with my work, right? But someone needs to give you that hand. And some of us are more fortunate than others, right?
But this someone will give a chance if you are a hard worker.
They can open the door, but you got to make sure you keep it open, right?
Correct.
That's what your work. I'm sure if I come in in the first 2 months, I'm lazy. I don't give my all. I'll be out the door. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
like players in the academy, if you're out there to work, bye.
Exactly.
It's like when we interview people like to work, let's say here. Oh, can you work on weekends? Yes, I can. First Saturday, I have a headache. I can't. My cat is on a tree. It's hard.
I think like you mentioned money, right? Money is a result. It's something that comes as a consequence. Yeah. Why? Because today you make 3. Okay? Someone will come and offer you 10. You're going to be like, oh my God, now I'm really going to work. This is going to be what I'm going to do. I'm going to be here. No, you're not. I'm going to tell you why. Because we get used to things. And tomorrow you're going to get used to 10. And 10 is not going to be enough. You're going to want 15. Yep. Someone who's not worried. Money is important. Guys, money is important because you got to make sure that you take care of your family. Okay? But someone who's driven to improve, I'm worried about becoming better and better and better and better. And whether you pay me 1, 2, or 100, I want to be better. Right. I want to do it the best I can. Yeah. Right? And I think that comes as a consequence.
Growth mindset.
Yeah. No, exactly. it is true. Yeah. I mean, we don't talk a lot about our company, but we didn't took $1 from our company that we opened 2 years ago. Prospects, thank you for sponsoring us. Because of that. So we want to bring bring the best to our customers until we reach a good level. We are not taking anything. It's not about money, but it's hard for people to understand.
You guys are growing, and I saw the facility is fantastic. Yeah. I'm sure many more things will come your way. Yeah. But it comes to a point where it's not only you two. You need to get a third person and a fourth person, because that's the only way you keep growing, right? But they need to think alike. Imagine if you get 10 people who think the same as you.
It's hard.
The sky is the limit. Yeah. It's hard. But if you do, take care of them. Yeah. Take care of them, because, like you said, it's difficult to find them. Take care of them.
It's gold.
But at the same time, if you have them, and I think it goes back to the message on that game against Dallas, we had it on that team. We had special players with the right mindsets who wanted to push forward. And that's when good things happen, And I think that's my message.
Siucito.
So let's transition.
You have a last question there, because
I got more
I think
for sure. Trust me.
Siu is telling us that it's exploring the time. There's a lot of good content. This is why.
So you actually had a question we didn't get to because I wanted to tie it into one segment, and that was more about like coaches, like in general, like coaching. So can you put your question back up? Yep. And there's a couple of topics I want. So what advice do you have for young coaches?
My advice will be seek to keep learning, to learn, expose yourself to different situations, get to know people who can share their experiences and help you as well, expose you to these experiences. And I think that's the way you learn, whether you're young, older, whatever it may be.
Exposure.
Yeah? Exposure.
Repetition of doing it. Yeah.
Did answer your question.
We want our players to be uncomfortable, right? You need to be uncomfortable as well. Be uncomfortable.
Be uncomfortable.
All right.
This is good
Another
for
question I
players as
have
well.
for you, and it's really two. One is, I've had many people ask me, why don't you coach during the games? And I'm like, what do you mean coach? Like, you don't yell at the kids during the game. Well, I'm like, I don't joystick. So I'm curious, what is your thought on joysticking? And
I think players need to make their own decisions, right? However, there's some. I think everybody is the way they are, and it's fine. Yeah. To me, I'm passionate.
yeah,
So for me to sit down and take notes, I wouldn't be authentic because that's not who I am. Okay, I need to stand on the sideline, even if I'm not saying anything, just standing there, because my presence, I think, helps the players. Okay, I need to be there for my players, so I need to encourage them. I need to support them. Sometimes they don't need a word of encouragement because they're doing it, but sometimes they do need hey, let's go.
Let's go get in the game. Yeah.
You know, let's go get in the game. So I think it's a matter of understanding the situation that you're in, playing different roles, because I think it's like we're in different masks, right? Sometimes you need to be the coach that pushes you. Sometimes you need to be the coach that, hey, don't worry, it's okay. Sometimes you need to be, I don't know, someone who's very, very, very encouraging, right, to everybody. Sometimes you're just a cheerleader. Let's go. You know?
It's the hardest job ever, huh?
But I think the difficult part of this is understanding that you're dealing with human beings.
Yeah.
And everybody, like I said, everybody's their own world, right? And they all think they're great, right?
Yeah.
And so how can you get to them in a way that they actually feel that you're there to help them? I think if you as a coach, the players knows, okay, because there's some players that he's good, all right, but they'll play for you because they know you're good, but are they really with you? You know, are they willing to go through that wall for you? You know, and I think if in anything you can get people, you can get your team to go through that wall for you and believe in the same that you believe in, I think you go far and you have something special, right? So, to your question, I mean, it's understanding the moments, I would say.
Right.
Do you sit back and just...
I mean, I do both, but like, I've had parents say, "Oh, well, you don't coach during the game." Like, how many times do you give instruction?
Yeah, but my question would be, okay, Kyle, you don't coach during the game. Why?
Why I don't coach during the game? Well, I think it's situational. So if somebody's not doing what you ask them to do, then you give them the instruction. But I think parents look at it from a perspective of you need to be saying something the entire game for the entirety of the game, and I'm like, for me that's not necessary unless motivational. There's some instruction you need to correct or something like that. But
it has happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's part of the learning process as well, where sometimes you say too much, and your voice loses impact, because imagine if every time you do something, I tell, hey.
They're not gonna listen to you.
By the time it's my 28, they're not even listening to me, right? But now I don't say anything. I'm quiet. Hey, they're gonna turn.
Sharp.
They're gonna turn. You know, and I think that's the experience that we all go through. You know, because I'm learning every day. I'm learning how to deal with players differently as well. You know? So I think it's a journey, but not because you do more, it means you're doing better.
Yeah.
Because they have that same concept with training, huh? They think, I'm doing training. From here, I went to work on private session here, and then another private session there, I'm like, wow.
Too much.
A lot of private sessions, okay? Or a lot of playing time. Okay, great. We don't allow our players to do anything outside Orlando City. Why? Because we want our players, okay, that when they come in the morning, think about this, right? They're already dealing with the pressure of like soccer and the environment.
Yeah.
School, family, friends. On top of that, more training. Okay.
It's hard.
But then you want in the next day to come in and perform at 110%.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How? And there's some players who don't perform at 110% just because they get physically burned out. And mentally too, most importantly, mentally.
It's overloading.
They're kids, yes. It's
And Saturday and Sunday, do you guys control Saturday and weekends?
We play Saturdays most of the time. We play one game a week. And then Sunday they rest.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and sometimes we cancel Mondays because we feel that they just need that extra day. And then they do schooling from home. And then they come back on Tuesday, fresher.
They don't play soccer. They can't.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
But it's not organized. by us.
Okay.
They don't go to private sessions, right? But they can go with their friends and do 5v5.
I
They
remember
can come
that.
here and play. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
I remember that was, I think, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Some DA's player, well, oh, you can't take picture of me. I can't play there. It is
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it in Orlando City? Or
Yeah.
From us?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're very why? Okay, and we want to control everything the player does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because again, it is an investment that we have.
Yeah.
We're investing in the
Right.
players.
A lot.
We don't put all
Yeah.
this just because we're nice, right?
Yeah.
It is an investment, and we need to know that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to be able to control the loads of the player, for example, and for his own benefit as well. Because if I don't know what he did last night, let's say he went and played and did whatever he did, and then comes the next day and I push him to the
He
limit,
don't do it.
and he gets hurt,
Oh yeah.
and he gets hurt. Now he's out for 3 months, 4 months, right? Okay, but I played last night. Yeah, but you didn't tell me.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Right, and we have GPS, we have a whole analytical and a sports science team that really truly takes care of the player. So we want to control everything, because that's the only way that we can. You can control what you can control, right? If you're outside, I can
it's
control
hard.
it. So we want to make sure, like, we're obsessed with that, because we want to make sure that the player is able to perform at their peak.
If he get hurt, like playing soccer outside, not telling you guys, something happened or?
I mean, it's not a pleasant conversation, right?
Yeah.
I will say, because imagine you're about to get an opportunity with the first team, and then you tell Coach Oscar Pareja that you got hurt playing
A league
5v5
in
with
a-
your friends.
Yeah.
Does it look professional? Again, you're a young professional. You gotta take care of yourself, right?
Probably he's out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else got the opportunity, and that player did very well. So now he got the
Lose your
opportunity,
chance.
not you,
Yeah.
and not you, right? I mean, again, there's no. This is not black and white, right? It all depends. But again, if accidents happen, accidents do happen, right? And kids need to be kids, because it's not only soccer. They can go play basketball and
Yeah.
get hurt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It
major
happens.
soccer,
You can do
but yeah.
Things happen. right?
Trampoline, there's a lot of
Things happen,
incidents. Trampoline.
but what we don't want is to expose our players. They're already training in a high demanding environment, and what we don't want is players to go to another place and keep doing it. They need the human being, the body needs to rest, right? And we want to make sure that we control all that.
It's also them understanding the sacrifice that if they're going to be a pro or play college, they need to understand.
Yeah.
They need rest. They need to buy into the process, and
They need to eat well.
Eat well. Yeah.
They need to sleep well.
Yeah.
It's finding that right balance between being a player and being a son and being a friend, being a student,
Yeah.
which is challenging.
Especially with this age, it's hard.
But it's part of life, right? Because whether they go pro or they go to school, they're gonna have to do it. Like
How hard they want.
when I was going to school, I was studying for exams for exams on the flight, returning to from a game or whatever it may be. Because on Monday we all had to go and take a test. And it's part of it. You need to adjust. That's a student athlete at the end, right? So you need to adjust. It's part of
Student
life.
athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, hit me.
So
you got
next
more.
one, I think
Hey.
this is a good one. So, how did you go about developing that mindset within your team, where the end result was your player came to you and said, "Don't worry, coach, we got this." So, are there actions that you took to try and promote mental toughness, or how do you get there?
I think first is creating a professional environment where players are accountable, where players are responsible for leaders of their own development, right? And then you set expectations. People in general, not only players, people in general, they know what they can get away with and what they cannot, right? So the first moment when you set the standards and you set them high, I think either you survive or you drown.
Yeah.
It's one of those, right? So I think the standards were set, right? The group of players that we brought in had the mindset that we wanted. That's why it's very important in the recruiting process and scouting process, to really get to know that player, and that's why it was special. But I think setting the standards and having the ability to move them up to the first team,
that's game changing. Huh? Yeah.
They work harder
Because they get to see it.
Of course.
I mean, they get to see it, they get to experience it all. Because it's very easy to say, "Oh, I want to go pro." Do you know what it takes?
Yeah. And it's right there. You're training here.
It's easy to say that when you play your age group. Yeah.
Okay, go.
But can you do it playing 2 years
Go.
up?
How was it?
3 years
oh,
up?
coach, it was faster. Oh, coach, they're so much stronger. Oh, coach, I lost the ball. I didn't see it for the next 5 minutes.
Real life? Yeah.
Have we been telling you that? Oh, yeah, coach, but here I get away with it. Exactly.
Ding, 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 ding.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
so again, it's exposing them to that level that truly helps us.
Yeah.
And sometimes, for example, like Coach Pareja, he comes down and runs a session for the 17s, for the 15s. Imagine the first team coach coming down and knowing your name, and
It's amazing.
it changes your mindset. Like, that if you're not serious,
Oh, you're done.
you're out, right?
You're out. Too nice.
And then at the same time, I would say it's setting the standards, but at the same time, holding them accountable. Because if we say, okay, guys, listen, just a quick, easy example, right? Hey, guys, we need to be here on the, 7 a.m. to be on the bus. 7:05, I don't care who you are. You're not coming. Bye. See you. Oh, my parents can take me. Good for you. You're not playing. You're not coming. I think the moment you deliver that message, it's a message for everybody, right? And I tend to go for the better players. Like I set a target for the better players, for the top players. Why? Because if you go for the top player and you're pushing that player, imagine player number 10, player number 15, player number 20. What's going through their mind? Yeah. Well, if he's pushing this guy like that, me, I have no chance. I either get it together or see you later, right? So I always go. I think you go for the strong. You don't go for the weak, right?
If this best player come late, 5 minutes, he's out.
You're not coming.
You see?
You're not coming.
Commitment.
You're not coming. You're not coming.
Yeah.
But more than commitment, it's developing a person of good, right? Because what kind of leader am I? If I tell you, listen, if you come late, you're not gonna get on the bus, and then because you're the best player, I let you get in.
Yeah.
What message does it send to everybody?
Correct.
It's terrible.
It's terrible,
Yeah.
right? So, and trust me, it's not easy.
Because Romario was like that.
Yeah, but they're pro level. Here is youth, right? Which is
You need
different,
to prepare them.
which is different, right? And if one of these kids goes to a national team and he's late, what do you think they're gonna do of it?
They're gonna tell, "Oh, my coach there allowed me in the past."
No, it's not only that. It's like you're late. They're gonna kick you out, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and so that means we're not doing our job because we're not preparing you for that next level. Right, so, and it's not hard. It's not easy. Sorry, because you want to win games too.
Yeah,
you want to compete, and then all of a sudden you don't have the best player that comes from scoring 3 goals, 4 goals. You're like, oh, you're killing me, but you got to do what you got to do, man. Like again, when you have a clear objective, everything else becomes easier.
Yeah.
Next question for you: what time do you arrive to the training ground, and what time do you arrive before games?
To the training ground, I arrive at 6:30 every morning.
Yeah. And what time starts?
8. We start 8:30. Depends. Right? Depends on the date.
Almost 2 hours.
6:30, and I leave. Again, depends. But I leave at 4 or 5. It's usually but you physically leave. You don't really leave.
Yeah. You know, you're still thinking about things.
And that's a process that I'm in right now, is finding that balance with when I'm with my family as well. Yeah. Okay, when I'm with my family, put the phone away. You know, let's have dinner together. Let's enjoy the time together. You know, like I fall asleep at like 8:30, 9, honestly, because I'm just tired, right? Yeah. Out in the sun and constantly, there's a lot going through your mind during the day, right? So like 8:30, 9, I got to put my kids to sleep. I'm out with them. You know, see you later, right?
If they call you, don't take the calls.
I've been put in do not disturb.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, and the only one who calls me past that time, if anything, is my mom. And when she calls me, she calls my wife because she knows I'm sleeping. And if it's an emergency, then she wakes me up. My wife doesn't go to sleep till later, right?
Yeah.
But I'm working on that because I used to pick up calls at like 10, 10:30, 11. But you also got to find that balance because it's important. My kids are young. Yeah, my kids are young, and time flies. Like we were talking about, like going to your daughter's birthday and all that.
Today I'm going.
But it happens so fast, and
you blink and
listen. The kids are not gonna be 3. It's not easy, huh? But the kids are not gonna be 2, 3, 4 forever. So it's time that you need to appreciate, I guess.
And and the thing is, we work with soccer, but on the weekends especially, we are out. We are working with another child, another kid.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's not easy.
What I'm trying to do is, like, for example, yesterday I went to a USA game, right? And I try to bring those, like, my family to be part of that experience. So when Orlando City plays, I try to bring them.
Yeah.
When the academy plays, right? I tell, hey, why don't you come and watch it? So I try to make them part of it, part of the experience. So at least I get to spend a little.
And your kids see you on the field.
Yeah. And I come, I say, I get him on the field. Yeah, they don't know.
It's hard. Young, it's hard.
They're still young, but you try to find ways to be close to them because it takes a lot of time. Like we're going to Dallas for 10 days. I don't see him for 10 days. I don't see him for 10 days, and then I'm coming back and going to my course for another 5.
And they can't go with you because they have school here.
Yeah, and my wife works and all that, so it's challenging. But again, those little moments that you may be with them make it quality moments.
Turn it off.
And it's something that I'm working on as well because trust me, I never used to do it. Now I'm becoming better, but it's something that I think is so important.
I'm not gonna take the calls, meta media.
What about pregame? What time do you arrive before a match?
2 hours
every time.
Yeah, because the kids, depending on the time, the kids eat there.
Okay.
So sometimes 2.5 because we want to make sure they eat prior to the game and they eat properly. So I would say it's a different environment than youth club. It's still a youth club, but it's different. I would say.
And then you said you arrive at 6:30 normally. So what do you guys do in prep time before practice?
We meet. We want to make sure that all the details for training and players, especially with the grouping, they're assigned to the proper groups. That we understand the cues of what we're working on that day, right? Because otherwise, if you're not prepared, you can be all over the place, right? And we want to be very detailed, like a sniper, right? Very specific in what we're looking for, and it's making sure that everybody's on the same page, because I want you to know what we're focusing on, so then you can look for the same thing that I'm looking for, right? Because in soccer, you can find 1,000 things.
Oh,
right?
easy.
Right, so we want to be really, really
oriented in what you're doing.
In what we're doing. Yeah, exactly.
Next question.
Kyle has a lot of questions. You ready, Javier?
No, it's okay.
So meta media saying this is the longest one because the good content.
I told you this is one I'm going to be most excited about. Next one is tactics, and the question with that becomes, at U15 and U17, when you get to not the group training but the team training, how often is it centered around tactics versus technique or?
First of all, we can be here talking for hours.
Tactics.
It's a lot of good content.
I love this. But so on Thursdays, on Wednesdays we play the game, which is again based on our principles. But on Thursday, we truly focus on what's going to happen on the weekend. So, for example, if we're going against a team who's going to high press, okay, on that Thursday we work on building out of the back, but with specific principles, right? Okay, we want to create superiority here because it's related to the game, right?
You've studied the opponent, they're going to play.
We want to play in between lines and gaps, but we feel that we need to accomplish this before we do that. So that's where the tactical component is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's every single day because you cannot see the game as, at least I don't see it as, or we don't see it as, okay, this is only technique. It's all one component, right? Technical, tactical, psychological, and physical. It's all together. It's all together. It's just like the moments of the game, right? Some people see it, let me work on transition. Let me work on
It all happens at the same time.
It all happens at the same time. So you need to be working on everything, right? Now, can you focus on one component specifically? Of course, but everything is part of the game. So it's. But the biggest emphasis on team principles is Thursday.
Gotcha.
Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yeah. It's interesting because even with our club, we have kids and they go, I don't understand why we're doing tactics. Because you need to know how to perform at the weekend and what to expect. And
I think that's, again, we're very focused in individual technique without decision making. Because I see it often. Individual technique without decision making is not the game.
What do you mean? Can you expand on that a little bit? What do you mean by individual technique without decision making? Wait for it. Here it comes.
Like that?
But it's like, okay, I play the ball to you. Tan, 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 tan. Is that really going to help you in the game? When does it really happen in the game?
Pressure.
So what are you training for? It's a lot of components, right? It's a lot of components. It's pressure. It's me actually making a decision. Okay, what do I need to do? What's triggering my decision? What cues am I looking for? Right? What clues am I looking for? I think this is all part of game understanding. And I think that's one of the reasons why we want to have players at a younger age group, because you can teach these components. I think one of the biggest opportunities in this country is players having a higher IQ for the game. Not only players, coaches. Us having a higher IQ for the game and making sure that, okay, when we tell a player we want you to do X, Y, and Z, we truly tell him why,
right,
how, right? This is what you look for, right? And getting to that detail, because that helps the player. That helps the player. Just an easy example is telling you, okay, if the pressure is coming to the right, don't play it to the right foot. Play it to the left foot. And even without me telling you where I'm playing it, just by the fact that I'm playing it to your left, I'm already telling you pressure is coming to your right. Right? So my pass is giving you information, right? But we need to focus on that detail, right? And we can go on and on, right? But it's can we expose players again to, right now with this course that I'm taking, right? Everything is through rules, discovery. Not everything, but part of the pedagogy is rules, right? Which, again, for example, I share something with you. We're working on switching the point of attack after attracting on one side. So what does that mean? Put a few passes together, making sure the opponent comes to you, so then I can break you, right? I can switch it. Two ways to switch it. I can switch it all the way to the wide area, or I can switch it in what we call the pocket, right? Which is usually the midfielder waiting in between lines, right? Okay. I've been telling my players, hey, video, this, that, whatever. Hey, come here and find him there. Come here and find him there. Come here and find him there. 5,000 times. Still not working. Still not working. However, I say, guys, when you can connect a pass from the 6, just to put a number on the player, from the 6 into the 10 is 1 point. Guess what the players do now? Tung, tung, 1 point. Tung, tung, 1 point. I told them 5,000 times the same thing, and they never did it.
Yeah. And now you have a challenge to
different
it.
methodology.
I'm like, oh my God.
Simplifying the thing. Yeah, the same thing is not going to work with the toddlers, for example.
And I didn't know this. And then when the instructors tell you, you're like,
always add a challenge.
Something so simple.
Yeah.
So simple. I didn't think of it.
Change your points.
You know, the sporting.
That's clippable.
Listen,
Clip for Kyle there. Hey, that's good.
And
that's good for any coach.
No,
to
for everybody.
Definitely.
And I tell you, and this is part of the what I'm learning now, you know, and part of the knowledge and the context that I'm getting, that I would love to share back with whoever wants it. You know, you just experience it. Now
we should do a workshop.
Now I'm sure you're gonna go, and whenever you want to accomplish whatever specific action,
targets.
Give him a point. Tell him every time you find
That's
him,
good advice.
Boom, 1 point. You're gonna see the players. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to coach it. All you had to do is 1 point.
Yeah.
Oh my God! The
Who
players
has
now
more,
are like,
more
boom,
points
boom,
will
boom.
get something on the end.
That's funny.
You tell the neutral. You want him to play forward. Okay. Neutral. You can only play forward and walk out. Walk out. Guess what he's gonna do?
He has to play forward.
problem solving. Right? Problem solving. And I think and you have so many variables, right? So many components that
It's
at
really
the end
good.
it helps the player teach, like learn, but the game is teaching them, not you. The game. But who set up the game? You. Right? So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. It's quite
That
interesting.
one was good as well. Huh? There's a lot of click. Meta media is crazy already.
He's gonna write all the notes. Next question I have, and I'm running out, but ideology. So for Orlando City, you said we want to follow the Orlando City way. What does that actually look like? What kind of players are you guys trying to develop? Obviously, good decision making, good people, but like what as a player, what do you need to have longer term?
I think you previously sort of asked me this question in terms of, okay, physically, tactically, technically, and psychologically, you need to be able to compete with the best.
Okay.
Right? I think players who understand the game, who truly understand the game, and they understand the relationship with the ball carrier, understand the relationship with their teammates, understand the relationship with the defenders and how that impacts their next action, are the players who have a better opportunity to play at a higher level. Why? Because again, it's okay. You need to move, sure, but where? Are you recognizing where the space is? Are you creating the space? I think these are components that truly help you play at a higher level. Because again, you can be the most technical player, but if you always have a man on, are you maximizing the fact that you're a highly technical player?
Yeah,
not so
really,
much,
yeah.
right? So I think I would say that's the biggest component for us, is helping players understand and find solutions to the different problems that the game will throw at them, right? That's the challenge. That's the challenge. And I think when you do that, it takes a lot of time. But when you actually do that, I think you're setting up a player, or you're for success, I would say, right? Because now he can go to any coach, and the coach would tell him, you can do this, this, and this, and he'll be like, okay, got it, boom, done. And coaches love that. Coaches love that. I've had one player in my entire coaching career, which is almost like 10, 11 years, that I've told him the things or what to do once, he will say, okay. And at first I was like,
he didn't understand.
this guy has no
Pretending.
He will go and do it. Bam, boom, do it. And do it well too. One player, huh? So it shows you how difficult it is.
One player.
Repetition.
Some others it took 10. Some others 100. Some others 5,000. Right? And it's okay. You're on your own journey. Right? You're on your own journey, and it's fine. But that's just to show you how difficult it is, right? But the more we can guide him and teach him the game, I think you will make that player. What's the word? You will make him autonomous. Is that yeah? And he's not gonna need you anymore. And
he can think for himself.
I think that's the best feeling for a coach, when the player doesn't need you anymore. You know, that's when you know you're like, okay, wow, all right, good.
Right.
Good. Good.
That was good. I want to clip that as well.
Clip.
That was too much.
All right, I have one more question. This is not really a question, but, well, I guess it is. Any crazy or funny story that's happened? Maybe you went to a tournament and some kid did something crazy. You don't have to say a name, but just something crazy that maybe happened, or funny, or...
A lot of
Funny.
that.
Every day I find these are funny kids, man. They're funny.
You got one story?
I like to make fun of them too. I like to make fun of them, and they take it. They never make fun of me. They're not allowed. Right? But I make fun of them.
It's not fair. I mean, yeah.
I make fun of them. I don't know. Not something that comes.
Nothing, just boom out of top of your mind.
No. But the best stories are, when you start, like when we travel. I tend to go the back of the bus, that's where they are. They kind of they don't want to be close to the coaching staff, right? But
you always there.
I like asking questions.
Yeah.
Not always, but I like asking questions day and there, whatever it may be. But most of the time on the bus, right? So hey, so what's going on with you, and what do you do, and what do you, and then you start finding out everything, good and bad, right? And then I will say that's when you start finding out who's the jokester, like who's the serious one, who's the one who makes sure that everybody's on the same page, the leaders, So, but I don't know. I don't have one moment where I would say, "Wow, this was funny."
He's keeping secrets. Secrets.
No, but I tell you, but they're great. They're great. They'll
It's funny. You see, even in the bus, he's watching the kids.
Of course. That's when you actually get to know them.
Yeah.
Because when you're coaching, you come in, they do a session, they go. When we travel is when you truly get to know the player.
See the Rio guy right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where you build trust. And that's when they know that you're not always a serious coach. You can joke around.
Of course.
Off the field, joke around with them. I mean, always there's a level of respect, right?
Yeah.
But you're dealing with kids, right? So if you want the message to be delivered to a kid, you need to talk to them as if you were a kid, you know, at their level, I would say, right?
Understand what they do and
sometimes and joke around, you know, why not? We enjoy it. We're here to have fun. At the end, you're there to have fun. It's a game, right? It's a game. It's not you win, you lose. It happens, right? But it's fun. Yeah. So but I don't have one funny moment that I will be like. Maybe once I leave, I remember.
Cut the camera, everything, and
then we'll find out. Yeah.
No, maybe. I don't know.
No, but that's fine.
But I tell you,
it's gonna be for the next episode.
I've seen it. I've seen it all.
Yeah, I believe it.
I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
Especially with this age.
Yes. I've seen it all.
Any other question, Caio Milagres?
No, the only thing I would say, any like final remarks that you would have maybe for a kid that wants to play for Orlando City, aspiring to be there, or any message really you want to leave.
And I also have one for yours, because I think this is too close. So what is the next for your team? Like, what is your next big tournament?
We're going to GA Cup next week.
Okay.
We actually play Man United.
Oh,
we
nice.
play Manchester United.
That'll be a huge game.
We play Manchester United. So
Game 1, 2, 3?
In Dallas. Game 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
so we're fresh. They're fresh. So it'll be nice.
Where can we watch? Like for people that is watching us,
I'm not sure, but it's GA Cup, so I'm sure there's a stream somewhere.
Yeah. GA Cup, Google.
Yeah, probably YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Okay.
They will do live. Probably.
Yeah. But I'm sure Orlando City will post it on their Instagram.
What day is kickoff for the Man?
It's next. So it's the 11th. Sunday is 11th. I think so.
Probably.
Yes. Yeah. The 9th is Friday.
At 11 a.m. Central Time. So 12
April
here.
11th is Monday.
So the 10th.
10 is Sunday.
Yeah. So the 10th. Yeah.
So no family time at this day.
No, I'm actually away. Yeah. I'm actually away. So that's the next one.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're competing every week to try to get into the playoffs. Yeah. You know, so hopefully we can have a shot at defending our title. Yeah.
Let's support it, and we're gonna talk about a few kids that
you got game video of the Man United team. You guys been studying, getting ready to play, or
we haven't focused on them yet because we have Nashville this weekend, right? And we tend to focus in the academy level. We tend to focus more about us. It's 80% us, 20% the opponent,
Gotcha.
Right? Because the opponent is relevant. We cannot just ignore the fact that we're playing someone. Yeah. You need to respect the opponent, but at the same time, the main priority is us. We want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do and we're doing them well. Right? So I would say that's the main priority.
April the 10th.
April 10th, I'm going to watch it for sure.
Guys. Yeah, definitely.
Watch.
But in your question now?
No, just any final remark you want to leave for kids or for parents, anything, whatever you want to leave.
Kids will be excited watching that.
If you want to play for Javier, you need, or whatever. Yeah.
No, not for me. For Orlando City or for anywhere. Yeah, you know, I think any platform that promotes soccer, especially in this country, is great because we know we're not the dominant sport, but we're getting there. You know, we're growing, and like again last night to watch the U.S. team, the U.S. game. Wow. I mean, that stadium, the atmosphere. I went to a previous one. I went to one in Columbus, okay? And I used to go to the ones when I was in Peru, and the national team is huge, right, over there. And everything stops. In Brazil, I don't know, I'm sure it's the same, but everything stops when the national team plays, right? And the stadium is crazy.
It's a holiday.
I'm telling you, but in Columbus, when I was in Columbus, I experienced the same. I was like, wow.
It's growing.
Wow.
Yesterday was packed.
But in Columbus, and then when I came here, yes, same thing. Like yesterday was packed. People, The atmosphere was great. It's family friendly, which is the most important thing. I mean, kids can come and they can have a good time, and it's growing. It's growing. So my advice to them is keep getting better, keep practicing, keep being committed, passionate, enjoy what you do, because this experience was really they're gonna take with them. I mean, I always tell my players, sometimes we don't even remember, okay, the score. Now, if you ask me last year, what were my scores for every game? I have no idea. I only remember a few, right? But what you remember is the experiences, the trips, the good times, the bad times. Everything is an experience. Yeah, it's part of the process, right? And I think that's what I would tell the players. I mean, enjoy it. To the parents, I would tell them, let the players enjoy. Let the players enjoy it. Sometimes we're so used to controlling the outcome, and unfortunately, in this game, it's not something that you can control. We cannot even control it. We're coaches, and they're players. And sometimes they cannot control it either, right? So sometimes it's I would say, find a person that you trust, because it's putting your son's development in someone's hand that you trust.
Correct. Yeah.
And when you trust him, empower him to do what's right for your player, or for your kid, right? And be there to support him rather than, because my parents never did it, right? But I will say the worst thing as a player will be, like, for example, when you get to a car and you know that you miss a goal, right? And then you get but you should have scored that. You don't think he knows that? Yeah. You really think he meant to miss it?
Or you played bad today?
Sometimes players know that. So I think it's like the example that I told you with my kid. Like, I'm not pushing him.
Yeah.
But what am I doing? I'm putting soccer balls all over the house. So when he sees them, he goes in and shoots. And when he does it, I get up. I'm like, "Oh, you want to shoot with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." But I never said anything.
It's
to
not
her.
pressure.
And my daughter. That was nothing to do with
how many balls you have in your house.
I got like the minimum. I got like 4 or 5. So anyways, but he enjoys it, right? Yeah. And to the coaches, I will close this excellent conversation. I will say with the coaches is try to push the players to compete, because sometimes we can be very hard on them, okay? And it's understanding that our words have a big influence, a big impact on a player. You can make it, or you can make him or break him.
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, knowing that sometimes we're a bit too soft. Sometimes, right? And it's finding that right balance that, okay, you need to expose to this player to uncomfortable situations so they grow. And at the same time, when you truly want the best for the player, sometimes the best for the player is for him to move on, right? And that applies to me as well. Like, I need to push players to the 23s. I need to push players to the first team. And sometimes it's not the best for the team. Yep. Sometimes it's not the best for me, because if we do well, I mean, Javier, he's doing great, all you want. But it's best for him.
Yeah.
Right? And we need to put our ego aside and truly make it about the player. Because we say it's about the player, but is it really about the player? Mm-hmm. Is it really about the player? Right? Sometimes it's about the coach. and we got to make sure that we go away from that. And try to get better and better, because the better you get, the more education you get. I didn't think like this 10 years ago. And now I do, because you get educated. You get educated. You're exposed to. Okay, we won the national championship. Okay, great. But I'm still the same guy. It changed my life in a positive way because of the experience. Yeah. But yeah, everybody wants to win. But what's truly winning? And to me, winning is the fact that 14 players were able to move on and continue their career playing soccer at a higher level. Whether it was college, OCB, first team, but they want to keep playing, right? I think that's winning.
Good content, meta media, all good, everything good, guys. I also want to highlight Anchor is the app that ask us to do some advertising. Yes, we need to do the Anchor advertising. to do the 20 seconds, I think, is on the app. So if you don't use Anchor, you can download an Apple Store, and it's amazing to use Anchor. Yes or no?
Great.
Yeah?
Listen, is it true that Maris is going to invite us to eat there?
Yeah.
Opa! Arturo,
we want what is it, lunch or dinner?
I'm going to put in a video as well. Arturo, we are here. Let me turn the camera. This is behind the scenes. Arturo, we are here. Peruvian right here, waiting Mari's restaurant.
We're coming today.
I mean, yes, we want to eat. I mean, I go there all the time.
We coming today.
Thank you so much.
But next time we're all gonna go together.
We can. On him. I'm gonna tell him. So thank you so much, Javier, the best coach here in town.
No,
definitely.
I'm kidding. But it's one of the hardest job here for sure. So thank you so much for coming.
No, and thank you guys. I mean, this environment, this platform is great.
Yeah.
Hopefully a lot of people are listening to us, and they can take something away from this, which is the most important thing.
Excited to have him back in the future.
Of course, we need episode 2 with him because there's a lot of I had a lot of questions here that I could go.
We can talk about the Man United experience. I don't know how it's gonna be.
Thank you so much, Meta Media. Once again, if you guys want to listen to the Spotify, you will see the link below here. Also, YouTube, you can change again the settings to closed caption
Keep
Portuguese,
it going, Thiago.
Spanish,
We're supposed to be over already. Keep going.
Portuguese. Yeah.
Great. Clip this so you'll.
You got more questions?
More questions?
I have more questions. Thank you so much. See you on the next show.
You want to stop now?
I told you, we can go on and on and on.